All I know is God raised that man up when the medical team couldn't do it.
That's what you
I've
think.
seen cripples get out of wheelchairs. I've seen blind eyes open. You see, everything that you read in the Bible still happens today. And a lot of it has to do with what?
I didn't know that sun rotates around us.
Jesus himself came to a man and said, "Believe ye that I am able to do this?" See, everything is by belief. Jesus marveled at their unbelief. So either you have a choice to believe or not believe. I'm just here telling my side, my experience, what I've experienced, and what I believe. And I chose to believe that God so loved the world. Because of sin entered in the world, you and I wasn't nowhere around, but we were affected by it. And the only way that we can escape the judgment of sin and hell is to believe that God sent His only Son to die on a cross. And it was religion that crucified Him. It was the hierarchy of the church at that time, because he upset their little apple cart and them making money and a bunch of money shysters and everything else, which most preachers are. And it still doesn't change anything.
You're saying that the Jews killed him?
Huh?
The Jews, you're saying?
Pharisees, Sadducees?
The Jews.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
It was the Romans that convicted him and
Right.
crucified him.
Right.
The Romans, not the Jews. The Romans weren't Jews.
No, but it was the Jews. It was Herod who said, "Who do you want, Jesus or Barabbas?" And the
That
Jews
was
said,
Pilate.
"Give us Barabbas."
That was Pilate.
They rejected. Yeah, absolutely, thank you. They rejected Jesus Christ, the Son of God. They chose Barabbas, a thief, over the Son of God. So that's where you get, if you want to put it that way, the Jews crucified Jesus. But what it was a spirit of religion. Not just Jews. It was those who had taken the law and they had legalized, and everything was wrong. This was wrong, that was wrong, this was wrong, that was wrong.
It was still the Romans that perpetuated the execution.
The fact of what I'm saying is God so loved us.
It wasn't
the story
the
is
religion of the Jewish people. It was the hierarchy in the
was
law.
Jesus crucified? Do you believe that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not getting on who was it
But
James
sitting here
and
preaching
John
that
and,
the
and
Jews
Hank
were all-
and Billy and Bob. The fact is, the story is God so loved us that Jesus came, left glory, took upon himself the form of a servant, humbled himself, and suffered death. He died
Yes.
for you and I's sin.
Arguably.
The blood atones. Because that's the story from the beginning, that blood had to be shed in order for sin to be forgiven. And so Jesus became the ultimate sacrifice for our sins. And you can have eternal life through his death, burial, and resurrection if you believe. You don't want to believe? Guess what? You don't have to believe.
I thought you were supposed to sing.
But back to my original point, you gon' die. Let me tell you another. Can I tell you another true story?
I might not.
Now this boy is still dead. Brain dead, no activity. He's been dead for 40-something years. On a Thursday night, I had gymnastics class on a Friday morning. This guy, he knew me in high school. This guy came from a wealthy family. He had his own car. He had
What's his
money.
name?
I came from a rather poor family.
this way up
I
there.
didn't have a car. Always double dated. Always had to ride with somebody else. But I was a party animal. I was always where it was going down, getting hot, what have you. And then I got born again, and my whole life changed. And God told me to go witness to this young man Friday morning at the 8 o'clock gymnastics class. Well, he never came. And it wasn't an audible voice, it was a real witness from God telling me to go witness to this friend of mine. And I said to myself in a conversation, back and forth.
So you talk to yourself.
I talked to myself, if you were going to believe.
Or in other words,
And I said, Lord, this guy don't even come to class, much less on Friday. It's football, it's weekend. He ain't gonna show up. He said, you go witness to him like I told you to. So I showed up at 7:30 on a Friday morning at a gymnastics class. Guess who was sitting in the classroom by himself on a mat? My friend, who never came to class. So I walked up to him and I said, Buster, I said, he said, hey Diamond, what are you doing here? I said, I came here to witness to you. He said, I heard you got religion. I said, no, you heard wrong. I met Jesus. I said, there's a difference between religion and being born again. I said, shut up, let me talk to you. He said, man, you scared me. He said, what's this deal? I said, Buster, I'm going to ask you one question. You know me. Yeah, man, I can't believe you got saved and all this stuff, you got religion. I said, well, last night I was praying. God told me to come witness to you. He said, come on, man, you freaking me out. And I said, I want you to listen to me. I said, if you fell over dead right now on this gymnastic mat, would you go to heaven or hell?
Well, his body would stay
And
right there.
He said,
I'm just saying.
come on, Diamond. He said, man, you know I don't go to church. I don't believe in God and all this kind of stuff. He said, but my mom and dad and all this kind of stuff. He said, I'd go to hell. I said, well, listen to me. Before everybody gets in here, I'm not here to embarrass you. Whatever. God told me to come tell you God didn't promise you tomorrow. You need to give your life to God right now. And this is his very words. Come on, Diamond. He said, man, he said, you know, I got to party some more. I got to live it up a little bit more. I said, no, you need to die. People started coming in, and I just said, hey, look, I'll talk to you later. That afternoon,
That sounds made up.
he went skiing on Bayou de Sear. And he did the what do you call it when you do, no, you know, when you throw water up,
That's called throwing water up.
yeah, so yeah, you're real cool.
That's cool, dude. That's awesome.
His name is Diamond.
Anyhow, you know how you throw water. And he hollered, hell, this is easy. And when he looked up, he skied right into the pillar of the bridge and knocked the brains out the back of his head. That was 4 o'clock that afternoon. Now that boy had a chance. God so loved him that God told me to go witness to him, and he knew me. I wasn't a stranger. He knew my lifestyle. He knew how wild I was. But God so loved that boy that he told me to go witness to him that Friday morning, knowing, because God's all-knowing, that boy was going to die that afternoon. And he died instantly.
So you're saying that God only gave him about 10
I
hours?
don't, no,
before he
I'm
took him?
sure. I'm sure that God gives people chances to hear the gospel, just like you're hearing the gospel today. What you gonna do with it?
Are we gonna die?
You gonna throw it? You might.
Man, you're wrong. It's
I
not.